Greetings everyone, it is I, Mad Gamer the Second, and welcome to the madness that is Splatoon. This will be episode 0 of my new series, Mad Good Gear. Originally, when I thought of the idea for this series, I kinda just wanted something to show off my extensive gear build collection, my wardrobe. However, as we are getting into Splatoon 3, a brand new game, a fresh start, I thought this would be a good opportunity to provide more of a guide for new players or even old players just for building up their gear, getting all set for the new game, and really just logging the evolution of gear builds for main weapons as time goes on. My main focus will be the Splatling class, more specifically the Heavy Splatling, but every so often I will cover some other weapons that intrigue me, perhaps the Tri-Stringer, the Tent Umbrella, the Splatter Shot. We'll have to see as time goes on, but for now, I want to look at Splatoon 2 and the builds I had for my Splatlings at the end of that game. Sort of give a base point, a jumping off point, as we go into the new game and just see how things are different for better or for worse. I would like to start by going over my pride and joy, the Heavy Splatling remix. The Heavy Splatling as a weapon really benefits a lot from run speed up. It was true of this game and the last game, but the thing with Splatoon 2 is the run speed ability kind of got nerfed. So in order to gain the same effect that you had in Splatoon 1, or really just to get the mobility that you want for a Heavy Splatling, you really gotta stack on the run speed. A lot of players will run several mains and additional subs at least. My personal favorite is the double main with the ink resistance, some extra subs of the run speed with some utility, quick super jump, swim speed, and bomb defense. Now a lot of other, I guess the more technical build I should say, utilizes the triple run speed, which is a few subs of the ink resistance. 2 subs is the bare minimum you want for a Splatling, and so most kits will run the triple main as well as the extra subs just to get the max amount of mobility possible for the Splatling. But like I said, my personal favorite is the main of ink resistance in addition to the 2 mains of run speed, so that's what I'll probably be basing most of my builds off in the future. Now the Heavy Splatling, as I said, benefits a lot from the run speed. It is a charge-based weapon, therefore you're not going to be running in and trying to shoot people right off the bat. No, you're going to want to take cover to charge up and then attack. And having that extra run speed just allows you to peek corners quickly and just get around quite a bit. The other thing that it benefits from is high ground with grates. Most other weapons, they get slowed down because you can't swim through it, but not the Heavy Splatling. But as is a long-range weapon, but not the longest range weapon in the game, the other thing that the run speed will help with is just skirmishes. You're going to have to get in pretty close to the action, a lot more than most other backlines will, so having that extra mobility will just help you fight your opponents and get around the map. And of course the swim speed is helpful just for that same purpose, for getting around, and you don't need a whole lot of it, but just a couple of subs will do the trick. And of course, ink resistance, there will be times when you're getting shot at and you don't have time to paint your own feet, so having the ink resistance will allow you to survive long enough to get the kill shot and also just get around when you can't necessarily paint for yourself. Bomb defense, of course, you're going to have a lot of bombs thrown at you, and having just that one sub will not only protect you from chip damage, but also it will keep your armor from getting popped. Of course, it's not going to be a big issue with Splatoon 3 as there is no armor, but it is good to have. Next we have the Hydra Splatling. Much like the Heavy Splatling, this weapon has a lot of mobility-based builds. You're going to be seeing a lot of run speed and sometimes swim speed on the kits used for this weapon. But some of the key differences between this and the Heavy Splatling is this is a heavy class weapon. Therefore, it's going to be a lot slower moving around and it's going to require a lot longer to charge up. You do get the extra range and damage to go with that, it'll just be a different playstyle altogether. Another feature of the Hydra Splatling is it gains damage up from MPU. So while a lot of kits will be utilizing the mobility, a lot of run speed, some kits will also include MPU on it just to get that 3-shot kill, or even a more secure kill for fall off. It is a matter of preference, not everyone runs the same builds, but it is an option.
Now, of course, NPU is not in Splatoon 3, so we will not be receiving the return of the damage up for any weapon, including the Hydra. So we'll be returning to the purely mobility-based weapon kits, I imagine. The third Splatling generally considered a full anchor is the Ballpoint Splatling. This also utilizes a lot of the same run speed perks as the other Splatlings, but it also has a lot more inherent mobility built into the main weapon itself. It is a lot more mobile, a lot quicker on its feet, so you won't see nearly as much built up, but even so, it is an insane amount of difference. Not only that, with the extra feature of being able to shoot at long range, it is a force to be reckoned with, and is one of the most versatile out of the Splatlings of the anchor variety. Now, it is still a 4-shot kill, so it doesn't beat the Hydra in damage, but it can certainly compete at it for range. Most kits for this are usually based off the sub and special. So for example, my kit for the Nouveau with the beacons has a couple of subs, a sub power up for the extra speed in jumping in, and then of course you'll have the special power up for the Inkjet ballpoint. However, as there is going to be new kits for the Splatoon 3, I don't know how much of my current kits will be helpful in the new game. There might be some brand new kits that we'll be looking at, so I will have to just wait and see. I am also not the expert on Ballpoint Splatling. My area of expertise tends to fall around the heavy Splatling and sometimes the Hydra Splatling. Going into Splat 3, we are going to have to see how changes to abilities and weapons affect the builds we see for the Splatling class. We do have the addition of the new ability, the Intensify Action, which helps with not only the RNG after using the new abilities or movement options of the Squid Roll and Squid Surge. It also decreases the RNG for when you are jumping. For a Splatling, jumping is a key strategy in dealing with longer range opponents and also just getting the drop on shorter range and quicker opponents. Most likely there will be builds with at least a couple of subs of the Intensify ability in it. Maybe 2 subs would be the minimum, maybe up to a main. About a main will cut the RNG in half from what I've seen so far. I came up with a couple of test builds that are my predictions of how things are going to look out just based off the abilities that we had from Splat 2. Depending on how run speed pans out, we might be able to get away with less run speed on our builds, but if not, we will have to figure out how to squeeze in some of the new abilities, or even if we want to, we might be able to just get away with the old builds from Splatoon 2. That'll be something to look forward to as we move through it, especially as we get new kits for new weapons. That is definitely going to dictate how we are choosing our abilities for our gear builds. I still think there's going to be a focus on the main weapon for at least the heavy weapon, or the heavy Splatling. My kit that I'm going to be using when I'm going into this is definitely going to utilize the ink resistance and run speed a lot more than a lot of kit-based gear builds. But once again, we shall have to see. This is why this is the precursor, the episode 0, just to lay the foundation and make predictions of how things are going to turn out. I am looking forward to just experiencing it all, getting to play the weapon, build up my gear, and just experiment. So in the next video, we're going to be going over a complete gear build of the heavy Splatling and just see how it plays out. We'll have to see how the new ability works and just how much we can use with the run speed. But for now, as we get into this new game, I want to thank you all for hanging out. I want to thank you all for watching. As always, this has been iMad Gamer II, and I will see you all later.